Hello everybody. Welcome to the third Archimaker's question event. I'm Anton and I'm an Archimaker, and I've been learning about architecture and design for 3 years with Archimake workshops. I'm so pleased we have Simone de Gale with us today, of Simone de Gale Architects. Simone has been awarded the International Entrepreneur of the Year 2018 by HSBC and the Westminster Lion Award in 2018 by Westminster City Council 2018, and was the winner of the UK Architect of the Year awarded by Women in Construction in 2017. Welcome, Simone.
Hi, Anton. How are you?
Fine, thanks. So, I'd really like to. So there are a few questions. I'd really like to know, what inspired you to become an architect?
Well, it's a really easy question, Anton, because my granddad, he was an architect in the Caribbean, and my dad worked in construction in London, and so did my uncles. And so very young, when I was about 10 years old, I was always on construction sites, and I was always around these amazing properties and joinery, and I just loved architecture. So I decided when I was about 12 that I was going to become an architect, and that's just what I've done.
Yeah, that sounds like a really cool reason.
It is. It's a really cool reason, yeah. Just following the family line.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite book that inspired you early in your career?
Well, I actually have the book here. It's a book called Symmetry, The Ordering Principle by David Wade. And this is an amazing book to me because it's all about symmetry in nature and geometries. And this is what the principle of my company is all about. You know, we look at geometries and symmetries and pure natural forms. And so this has been a big inspiration for my company.
That's really cool. That's a really cool book.
Thank you.
What was your favorite project that you worked on?
Well, my favorite project is the one that I'll speak to you. I'll show you the video a bit later in the presentation. And it's a project that we have on at the moment. It's based in Tbilisi in Georgia, which is in East Europe. And the project is for a master plan. And it is to develop the northwest side of the city into a mixed-use development scheme. So there's going to be 3,000 homes, and then also there's going to be a retail center and a commercial center, as well as leisure facilities and lots of public green spaces. And it's my favorite because our client was really nice to us. They said that we can do whatever we want with our design as long as we have, you know, the 3,000 homes. then we can be as creative as we want to be.
Cool. That sounds like a really good, well, I wouldn't call it building. I'd call it loads of buildings.
It is loads of buildings, and it's an amazing opportunity for my company as well. And when I show you the drawings, which I will do a little bit later in our interview, then you'll just see how fantastic it is.
So, this is question 4. So, we are all spending more time at home than ever before. What is it that you love most about your home that gives you a sense of well-being?
Well, the thing that I really love about my home is that I purchased the property about a year ago, and then I designed it all myself. And I said, you know, I want to have these colors in the rooms, and I want to have these fittings in the rooms. And then what I decided to do was to do all of the decoration myself. So I stripped all of the walls myself, and then I did all of the paintwork on the walls. I did all of the woodwork, and then I also did all of the joinery and put up the shelves. And so I feel so comfortable at home because everywhere I look, I know it's my work, and I just feel so proud of that.
That's a really cool thing that makes you happy at home.
Yeah.
So we're all in secondary school and primary school.
Yeah.
What suggestions would you give us to explore our interests in architecture?
Well, I would say in terms of exploring architecture, like now there's so many websites and journals like on the internet that I would just look up architecture on Google, and then I would go to all of the magazines and all of the journals and websites, and I would look at the fantastic buildings, and then I would read on who the architects are who design those buildings. And I would, you can even subscribe for some of these websites. So, you can put your email address into the subscription box, and then every day you can get an alert on like the latest trends in architecture, the latest building that's being built, and the new materials and the new way of thinking. And that is so cool, and it's really interesting way to get involved in architecture. And I've subscribed to so many websites as well. I get alerts every day, so I know exactly what's going on in the industry and how to operate as an architect and also as a business person. And then another tip that I would give to you is that you should speak to the local councillors, the local council members in your community. So, whatever borough you're living in, there's always going to be council members who represent planning, architecture, and the environment. And I would see if it's possible to engage with them, have conversations, because they're always trying to improve the environment. And it's difficult to do the job by yourself. So if you've got like young people coming and giving nice, interesting ideas to the council members, then they will just really love that. And so I would encourage you and your friends to speak to all the people in your community who are, in charge of planning and architecture.
Okay, so everybody, you heard that. So you can use all those tips that she's mentioned to, help you with your own architecture and your own art. So I recalled you dropped in on an Archimake workshop. What did you think of what we're doing in Archimake?
I think it's fantastic, because I think that, sometimes lots of young people don't know a lot about architecture, and to have a academy just focused for young students, young people to understand architecture and the environment, I think it's absolutely amazing. And I love the Archimake group and all the work that they're doing. And so definitely that's why I participated today in the interview and then went to the workshop. So I would just encourage all the parents just to engage in the workshops more, and it's fabulous. Obviously I know a lot about architecture because I was brought up, as I said, like in my family. I knew, all about architecture and construction and lots of interior design from when I was very young. But the more that we amplify that message, that understanding at a younger age, it means that you'll be able to shape your own environment. You can have some beautiful green spaces, you can have some really nice homes, and, once you become educated, you can voice your opinion.
That's really cool. So, thank you so much for answering our questions. Can you please show us a little more of your favorite project?
I will do, Anton, and I've got it prepared right here for you. So, I'm going to share my screen now.
And everyone, while she's showing her project, you can try and think up of a few questions that you can ask her in the live comments, and we'll ask them afterwards.
Definitely. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'll take you through this presentation, and this is the project that I spoke about. This is the master plan project that we're doing in Tbilisi in Georgia. So, as you know from my book, we like to work with geometries and with symmetry. And so what I like to do in our design work is we like to work with pure geometries. For instance, the square, the circle, or the triangle. And the reason why I like it is because you can use it. It's a very simple, basic geometry, which you can then multiply and you can repeat. And then you can start to make these amazing patterns to create some amazing, beautiful designs. So the project, this is the site that we have in Georgia, in Tbilisi. And you can see it's marked in red there, the site area. So you can see how big it is because these are some existing buildings and you can see how small they are. This is a rugby pitch. And so you can just see the comparison. And just to give you some figures, it's 160,000 square meters just in the footprint. So it's huge. And here are some photographs of the site. So you can see it's empty. It's completely empty, isn't it, Anton?
Yeah.
Oh, except for these buildings. You know, it's just like some structures. But here you can see how empty the site is. And so, you know, when the client came to us and said, this is the site, I was really happy because it's just empty and we could do whatever we wanted. So what we decided to do, because our client said that they wanted to maximize the residential capacity, we said that we would split the site into a residential zone, which is the red part here, and then a retail zone, which is the blue part. So I'm going to speak about the residential part now. So to get some ideas and inspiration for the residential design, I said that me and my team, we should look at some inspiration from local Georgian artists and local Georgian artists that would be in line with our company ethos, which is, you know, the pure geometry, repetition, symmetry, etc. So this particular artist, Alexander Berdisev, he is really interesting to us. And so we explored his work a bit more. So we got some inspiration from the art. And then we also visited the museums in Georgia and we got some inspiration from the history in terms of, in particular, this slide shows you the jewelry that's been designed in Georgia and the repetition that they've used, repeating the pattern. And so we were really inspired by this design. And I thought, you know, we're really moving in a good direction for our architectural design. So we took a square, which became the basic building block, 25 meters by 25. And then we started to repeat a pattern across the site. So you can see here, we've got the square with a little courtyard in the middle. And where you see the courtyard, this might be the green space. So, you know, you might have buildings around the edge, and then you might have a green space in the middle. And then you can see here, we started to repeat the pattern in line with our company ethos. And then we have roads, which comes in between. And you can see that this is replicated and starts to become a design for a master plan. So this is what we ended up coming up with for the residential areas. And you can see we've got buildings coming all the way along this residential side, which will be in line with our clients' requirements. And then we've got green spaces coming across the edges here. So we started to look at the retail area of the site, and this is the blue part. And what we decided to do in the same way was to have the existing buildings. We wanted to have additional buildings put into the master plan so that all together we could create one big square, or in this case, you couldn't say a rectangle, so that we could keep our architectural rules and we could have that beautiful repetition and style throughout the master plan. And in this in this retail area, what we would have are activities like shopping, would have a supermarket, would have cinema, gym, lots of like really nice social activities where people can come together and have fun and really enjoy their time. And so our client really liked the design. And then on top of that, we would have this lovely green space all around the retail areas so that people could come along with their families and they could enjoy the green space. They could, have fun with their children and with their friends. And it would just be a really nice space to be in. So we also introduced some major roads into this project. So we had a north to south boulevard, and this would be the area where we would have like lots of like cafes and restaurants and sort of boutique buildings, so that people can come and do some shopping and have some tea with their friends and have fun and be social. And that was a really nice space. And then on the west side, we had 2 new roads which came into that area, and that would provide access to the site from the existing road, which you can see comes across here. These are the existing roads. So these are the major connections to the existing roads, and it would help to bring people into this lovely new centre. And here's the master plan. So here's the main design. And you can see that we have the residential buildings following the pattern of the square with the repetition and the rules. And then we have the retail buildings. This is the main shopping centre. And then we have a leisure facility and supermarket. And then we have some offices here along the south side. And then we would have like this lovely luxury park all around. So this is the overview of the master plan. This is the design as it is and what we would submit for permission. And here's some more of the views. So here you've got like an education building. So this might be your new school, Anton. Cool building, nice materials, and having fun with your friends. And then we've got lots of residential buildings. And I don't know if you can notice, but we've got lots of green space on the roofs of the buildings as well. So we want to be sustainable. We want to have lots of green spaces on the ground as well as on the roofs. And this is, although it's master plan, we're still developing the design. So now we're having discussion where we might have green spaces in the middle of the building. And that means that lots more people will get access to trees and grass and outdoor space, which is lovely. So that's that. This is an image of that north-south boulevard, that main street that I told you, coming down from the north to the south. Yeah. So you can see people are sitting outside with their friends and they're having tea or lunch, and then there might be some retail units where people might do some shopping and have some fun, and then there's just pedestrians walking, and then you can see there's residential above the ground floor. So one really important rule in master plan design in architecture is that on the ground floor, we can have public accessible spaces like retail, restaurant, office, etc. But then above ground floor, we will have residential homes or offices. So that's a really important rule to remember. And then here you can see the luxury park, you know, some really nice spaces for the little children to play in, a little pool there as well, and some pedestrian walkways for everyone to access the space. And then this cool building at the back, these are the commercial offices. And I think it's important to note that even if you're using a very simple geometry like the square, you know, you can still have these beautiful, amazing facades. So you can use like really cool materials and make these buildings beautiful. So the infrastructure might be very simple and basic, which means it might be cost effective. You know, we can build it at a good price, but then you can have these beautiful facades where, you know, when you're looking at the building, it just looks gorgeous and, you know, really stunning. And that means, you know, that everyone's going to love the building. So, all right, so that's the end of the presentation. And I just have a video which amplifies the design more. So I'm just going to close this window. And I'm going to open another window, and I hope, and this will be, here we go, the video. So you can see all the green roofs. And this is the retail space, so you can see how the buildings are coming together. Look at all that space for all the people. And this is the main north to south boulevard. Now we're entering the retail spaces. And this is the big public park. Lots of housing. And then this is the master plan. This is the overview. And that's it.
That looked really cool.
Thank you.
Really, and it's really nice how you took into consideration everything, even, yeah, you took in, yeah, it just looks beautiful from everywhere.
Oh, that's really kind, Anton. Thank you so much. You know, we put a lot of hard work into it, me and my team. And as I said, it's completely based on our architectural rules and our company ethos. So it's such an exciting project to be part of. And our client is very happy with the design.
Cool. So, I have a question that I missed, sorry, from Slime Shine Sisters. Okay, it's, how long have you been an architect for?
I've been a qualified architect for 10 years now. So nearly 10 years actually, 9 years. I got my qualification in 2011.
And we have another one, and it was, what app did you make it on? So the
video.
Actually, I don't know.
The
Maybe
video, we actually commissioned another company to do. So, you know, as architects, we have certain skills, but we work with lots of professionals, and we have a professional 3D visualization company who produced the video for us. I'm not quite sure what software they use because we don't do animation, but there's some softwares like 3D Maya, and lots of applications from Autodesk which you can use.
Cool. So I think we might have time for one quick answer to Hiker's question. If a lot of your projects are outside the UK, how has lockdown affected your ability to travel to see these sites, check construction, and have face-to-face meetings?
Well, about 30% of our work is outside of the UK. We have a lot of projects in London, but in terms of our projects in Georgia and generally, we work very closely with our clients, and it's so easy for us to share information through the internet. So, you know, we have emails with our clients, we speak on WhatsApp, we now have Zoom and other video conferencing, and then we have file sharing. And so it makes it really easy to communicate with our client. This particular client in Georgia, the president of the company he lives in Chelsea, he lives in London. So we can meet him face to face, probably once a month, but then we speak to his construction team every day.
Okay, thank you for that answer. So, thank you for joining us.
It's a real pleasure, Anton. Thank you so much for your questions.
And thank you everyone who joined us at home. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you would like to draw a drawing of this awesome master plan, you can email it to the email on the orange bar at the bottom of the screen. And we'll send it to Simone as well. See you at our next Archimaker's questions. Bye.
Bye.